Hola. Nicola. Nah, hello. Nice of you to join me again. Today's going to be a little bit different. It's all going to be about breathing and just hitting that parasympathetic state, slowing down. What does that mean? You have people know about the fight and flight or fight or flight kind of response, and then there's the rest and digest. Fight and flight is kind of like the body's ready to go and either fight or run. And then the opposite of that is rest and digest, or the parasympathetic nervous system. So it's slow, it's calm, you feel safe, it's a low resting heart rate. Yeah, so let's start. I'm not going to do much movement. I have a prop today. You can use a chair or a bench, or you want to be roughly, you want a rough 90-degree angle, right? You want your legs, not even 90-degree angle, you just want your feet higher than your heart so the blood comes back, right? My type of breathing or my style of breathing is going to be in through the nose for 4 seconds, hold for a second or two. It's going to be out through pursed lips or pretending like you're exhaling through a straw for about 8 seconds. In for 4, wait a sec, exhale for 8, wait a sec, in for 4, wait a sec, exhale for 8, wait a sec. And you can see my heart rate like that side. Try not to breathe into the chest. Breathing low. It's not just my stomach expanding, I'm trying to expand sideways. Making my ribs as wide as possible. Let it all go down. I've got my tea on the side here. You can hear that. I have some honey and some bone broth, which is good in micronutrients. Plus I have that throat infection, so the honey has some antibacterial properties. This is a really good technique to calm down. And recenter yourself, or ground yourself. As I'm talking, doing this. I feel like I sound like the kid from Malcolm in the Middle. He used to get puffed out mid-sentence. Can't remember his name. But it was very funny. 3 things I'm grateful for. I have the space and time to do this. I've got 10 fingers and 10 toes, and I can move them at my will. I'm grateful that I'm bald. I don't have to go to the barber anymore. Or the hairdressers, I don't have to get regular haircuts and pay $80. Let me tell you a funny story. So I started to go pretty bald pretty young. Like my early 20s. I was losing it at the top of my head. And I was holding on to what I had. I used to be like self-conscious and like any young man, or any young person really. And I'd always like adjust my hair, and all that touching made it oily, and anyway. I didn't have much hair. I went to a hairdresser or to a barber and I was like, can you give me a haircut? And he's like, yeah, cool. Mind you, I didn't have much hair, and he spent 15 minutes cutting my hair, and he's like, $80. $80 to make my hair go from pretty shit to just a little bit less shit. I didn't have much hair, so I paid him the $80. On the way home, I went to JB Hi-Fi, bought myself a trimmer, and that night I shaved my head bald. So that was like the straw that broke the camel's back. Paid $80 for a haircut, for him to barely cut some hair that I had on my head. And I spent even more money on a trimmer. And went home and shaved my head. And I thought, stuff you, Jack, as my grandfather would say. And I've never looked back. Shaving my head was the best thing I ever did. For my mentality, as in like my, whatever you want to call it. Now I won't go back. If you gave me the option, like, hey mate, I can regrow your hair with a magic pill or whatever the case is, I wouldn't take it, because the convenience of shaving my head every once a week, sometimes I get lazy, but it's just too convenient. I don't have to go anywhere and pay anything more. I must admit, every couple of months I do go to a barber to get pampered, and I get them to kind of clean up my beard, because it's really hard. Maintaining a beard is hard work. I hope you've been breathing through this 8 minutes now almost. I was kind of talking, but that's the gist of it. In through the nose for 4. Making the rib cage as wide as possible, nice and slow. And then a slow exhale through pursed lips. I hope you feel calmer. I hope you feel better. I do. Feel almost like semi-sedated being in that position. And I'm going to have my warm cuppa. Oh, it tastes delicious, and the micronutrients are insane in that. Have a beautiful night, and hopefully you tune in tomorrow. Namaste. Namaste.